welcome to the second edition of the Star Wars Connection. My name is Tina, and I'll be your host for this episode. And today with me, I have Denise and Lena. Hey guys, how's it going?
Hello, I'm Denise.
Hello, I'm Lena.
And today we will be discussing spoilers out of the location shoot that occurred in mid-March in Dubrovnik, Croatia, which sits on the southern portion of the country on the coast of the beautiful Adriatic Sea. Today's topics include the discussion of new characters played by Laura Dern, Benicio del Toro, and newcomer Kelly Marie Tran, as well as a spoiler we have from an insider of our own, which she was able to gather when observing the on-location set. So, Lena and Denise, can you guys describe the Dubrovnik set? There were a lot of extravagant costumes. There appeared to be what was a yacht party. What were you guys' findings for Dubrovnik?
Well, it seemed like a very, very upmarket setting.
Yeah, it looked like a party, and that they had like people with a lot of money, aristocratic, and
like a space Monaco. Basically, it looked like.
It had it could have been like a very extravagant party, or even a casino. Looked like the underworld meets aristocrats.
Yes, there was a scene that was shot in a boat, which I'm assuming it's going to be the first boat scene in a Star Wars movie, which is nice. And it definitely looks like maybe a casino. There were some rumors about a space Las Vegas, but this, like Lena said, it's more a space Monaco. And there were rumors about a funeral at a beach because there was some shooting on the beach. Do you know more about it, Lena?
Yeah, there were some extras there who looked like policemen or some kind of soldiers. I'm not sure what they were. And the people were wearing black robes, but I think they were just covering the costumes. So hard to say. I would say that it's a party or like a very rich part of town somewhere. I would say it's not a funeral of any kind, but, who knows?
Yes, there were rumors also that Luke was there looking for someone, I think. I think his double was seen there, or was not seen, but there are rumors that he would go into a casino, look for someone, and people think that is the casino. The funeral, some people think it could be Han's funeral. I'm not sure. I think it's way too late for that at this point. It would go back in the story. It doesn't make sense. I think it's something in the future that they're going to some place. We know that the people that are there, we've seen the doubles for Finn and for Kelly Marie Tran's character.
And Rey's stunt double was there as well, but she wasn't dressed as Rey, so don't know. She was probably there just as an extra.
It makes sense, just as an extra to play someone else, or just to get the people who look for rumors confused, right?
Or both, yeah.
Especially if she's a stunt double, she could have multiple things that she's doing. She could either be a stunt double or she could be an extra. So going back to Kelly Marie Tran, though, I think she was already cast in December, but there were false rumors about other actresses that were cast after TFA. There is a rumor that she may be playing a love interest for Finn. Can you guys elaborate on that some more?
I think she is definitely playing a love interest for Finn. When she was first cast, people were thinking that, and I was like, oh no, maybe, let's have a woman that's just a woman. But the reason for that is that there is a scene in Dubrovnik where her stunt double and Finn's stunt double are on a space horse or some creature, and they're very close together in a position that, for me, seems to imply some kind of romantic arc for these two characters.
And John Boyega made a very interesting remark about chemistry. I'm not quite sure about the wording, but he said something like he has learned a lot about chemistry from Kelly Marie Tran, or something like that. So I think the chemistry between them will play an important role. So.
Yes, all these other actresses, I know that the rumors talked about chemistry tests, but let's remember most of these rumors were after The Force Awakens when Kelly was cast. She was already cast in early December.
Yeah, well, actually, that's all I know.
No, I was going to say that there's an Instagram photo of her. It's from December 8th, 2015, and just recently they said, oh, only now we can say what we were celebrating. So this photo from early December says that they were already celebrating that she was cast. And there's another Instagram photo with some pictures where she writes, I wish I could have said it before Christmas, but I couldn't. And it makes sense, because if we think about Daisy Ridley, it was the same thing. She was already cast and she had to hide it from her friends, which must have been very weird. Imagine that. Where are you going? What are you doing? I suddenly you decided to work out. And she's like, no, I'm working out, whatever. Got a problem with that? It's very strange. But
I get the impression she's going to look. I'm really excited about her new role. In fact, a lot of people on their first viewing of The Force Awakens think, oh, Rey and Finn, they're going to be, the couple. Well, John Boyega's comments actually from last week, which is lovingly called Boyegate, he stated that he actually wasn't playing any romance with Rey and that they're just friends and the romance isn't going to go the way you think it's going to go, which is interesting in itself because that opens up some options for Rey and it opens up some options for him as well with Kelly Marie Tran's character. But moving on, if you guys, we also want to talk about Laura Dern. Laura Dern is going to be playing a resistance officer, presumably opposite Oscar Isaac's character Poe. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about her?
Well, I think we know very little about her, apart from that supposed leak, some kind of a dramatic scene where Laura Dern character is trying to take over the resistance or whatever it was.
Yes, but we do know, at least if your sources are right, that she's going to be in the resistance, and we know that her role might have been reduced, because if Poe kind of takes her role, that's the rumors, her role has been reduced. And that ties again to Kelly Marie Tran, because some people said her role was reduced, and it doesn't look like it, because John Boyega said it was going to be a big role. So it was not reduced. Just wanted to say that Kelly, I think she's been working out a lot. There are pictures of that, and her stunt double is a very good martial artist, so she's definitely going to play some action sequences. And so Finn is going to play some action sequences as well. He's also working out a lot, and we're going to see them in action, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And Laura Dern, yes, we don't know much about her.
And there have been some some insulting assumptions about Kelly Marie Tran's role, being very small and having perhaps a few minutes of screen time, or that she's playing a cute little alien or something.
So yes, I agree. There are lots of rumors. Many of them are not nice. Some people criticize her appearance as well, and she's a lovely girl, and she has a really lovely figure, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna look great. Whoever is saying she doesn't look good, they're gonna bite their tongue. They're in for a surprise.
Their tongue after the movie comes out, I can't see it. But anyway, going back, there's also video footage of a guy being thrown in the air with a force throw. I don't have a source written down for that, but I don't know if you guys know anything about that. I know that Adam Driver wasn't seen on set, so that as far as force sensitive characters, Mark Hamill's stunt double was there, so it's possible that could have been from Luke.
Yeah, I think it could be.
All right, and then last but not least, I wanted to go into another leaked rumor we had actually from one of our own. We had our own insider that was actually on site for the Dubrovnik shoot. She lives in Croatia, and I think she and a couple of friends took a bus there and were able to make some observations. She didn't see, a whole lot, but what she did see was very interesting. She was, our Darksider was at the bottom of a city wall fortress where they were filming, and it was built in a unique way that makes the words echo in certain spots along the wall and under the wall. So this scene was shot with a young, unknown actor, or he could have been possibly a double, we don't know. He couldn't have been more than 18 or 19 years old, and this young man was standing maybe 100 feet above her at the top of the fortress, directly under the nighttime sky. This young man was instructed by the director of the scene to look at the stars. The director, which I assume would be Rian Johnson, was overheard stating, now this is the part where Rey is confused about her feelings. And that's really interesting because Rey nor Chloe, Daisy Ridley's body double, neither of them were on set. So Rey was not part of this scene, but yet this young man standing on top of this wall or fortress was told, this is the part where Rey is confused about her feelings, and he was instructed to look at the stars as if he were meditating. The young man's hair was covered by a pith hat, so you couldn't see the texture nor the color of the hair. So now let's speculate on what this could mean. This scene could represent a few different things. However, it is notable that in the TFA novelization, Kylo Ren meditates while looking out towards the stars. There's a scene where Mitaka approaches him, and Ren articulates about the vastness of space and how there's order in the chaos. Order is what holds everything together and keeps it from falling apart. I'm paraphrasing. This isn't word for word, so I'm just going by what I remember from the novel. So that's kind of, or it could be, something completely different. It could be a lost family member. That would certainly cause Rey to be confused about her feelings if there's, some sort of, if she's looking for her family, and who knows where her family could come from. They could have, dark side origins, for who she knows, and, that could cause some confusion as well. So, what do you guys want to expand upon that a little bit?
I think it could be Kylo. It makes sense. However, yes, a family member. Imagine she finds out that she's the daughter of a Darksider, and then she sees him young. It could be. Both are feasible, and we have to wait, I guess.
He might definitely have some ties to the Dubrovnik planet, because it would make sense that if her family is somehow relevant to the plot, it should probably appear in the episode 8. So I would say that it's possible that it's about her family, but who knows?
Yeah, I could, I don't know if we're actually going to find out who Rey's parents are in episode 8. I know that Colin Trevorrow, am I pronouncing that right? I hope so. He's the director for episode 9, and he kind of hinted that we wouldn't find out who Rey's parents are until 9. But I think we're going to, in 8, if we don't, I think we're definitely going to be finding more clues to that.
I was going to say, let's not forget that JJ pretty much spilled out that her parents are likely not in The Force Awakens. So that's something to keep in mind.
Exactly.
Popular theories, we're likely in for a surprise, which seems interesting.
All right, so let's talk about Benicio del Toro's character. We don't know a whole lot about. There's been a few different theories. Do you guys want to expand upon those theories and about what kind of character he might be playing?
Lena, do you want to talk about the King Prana theory that you have?
Yeah, well, it's not so much a theory as it's based on the name itself, Prana, which means life force, immortal cosmic energy, which is a hugely significant meaning.
And who's
like Star Wars? Okay,
I was just going to say, who is he? When is he first mentioned?
It's in The Force Awakens, where Han is smuggling the Rathars. How do you pronounce it?
Rathars, I think.
Rathars, yeah. Well, he's smuggling those to King Prana, and well, that's all basically.
Yes.
That's all we know about King Prana. He has a zoo, and he's a collector of animals. But his name is the intriguing part about him.
I would say also that he's a little bit like Jabba, which had mentions in the first one, which is called they called A New Hope. But and then Jabba becomes an important player, and he has this crime palace, and maybe it's just a supposition that maybe this Dubrovnik set could be related to this King Prana, since you have aristocratic people, you have palaces, you have this setting that looks like it, and you happen to have a king that was mentioned in the first one.
Yes, and the men on the Dubrovnik set were wearing knightly sashes, which I found interesting. Black sashes across their torsos. Yeah, that would certainly imply monarchy.
Yes, it could. But that's a theory. Also, Benicio del Toro said in an interview that he's playing a villain, or the villain, but he could be a darksider, he could be, I don't know, like a bounty hunter, a criminal. Do you guys have any idea? No?
Yeah, no.
You can speculate from like anything from a bounty hunter to a rival to Snoke. I think it's more than likely he's gonna be playing a villain. I've seen him in other roles where he plays a villain, and he's fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to him.
Yeah, he can.
He is. But King Prana, that, and Lena, that kind of goes back to what you were saying about the lavishness of the Dubrovnik set, where you have all these people in these extravagant costumes. Another word I would say, like besides extravagant, would be royalty. So these scenes could definitely be related to King Prana, or King Prana my feelings. However that ties in.
Yeah, we'll see, right?
King Prana might be an evil king. He certainly doesn't seem like a nice guy.
No, he does not. No, I'm not getting the warm fuzzies from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we could see his zoo with all the exotic animals, but I'm not sure it's going there.
I see him playing like a BB-8 or Ewok type character where it's all, fluffy rainbows and happy.
It would be funny.
Something I found interesting was that the Dubrovnik set had some small details that looked a lot like the planet Onderon from the Clone Wars and from the extended universe. The planet Onderon was also added to the galactic map that was in the visual dictionary. So I thought that was interesting, but at the same time, I don't know if it's actually supposed to be Onderon or just a planet that's similar to Onderon. But
yes.
I found interesting.
I was going to say I didn't know that. I don't have a very extensive knowledge of the EU, so it sounds like you do. So that's really fascinating.
Yes, but it's also in the Clone Wars. But as to it being Onderon, I would say maybe, because it has been added to the map. However, I find that in this new trilogy, they take concepts that were used and they have something similar with a different name. So it's not Tatooine, it's not something, and so maybe it's just not on their own. I don't know.
Yeah, the main thing that was similar was a decorative pattern that I spotted on a ceiling that was straight from a piece of concept art for the Clone Wars. But it might be just that they're recycling concepts, but it was an interesting similarity because it was basically exactly the same, the pattern on the ceiling.
And Onderon has a king, right? So, or just...
That's exactly.
Yes, it has a king, and in the extended universe, which isn't canon anymore, the royal house of Onderon had the family name Kira, which...
Wow.
Wow, I didn't know that. For our listeners, for our listeners who aren't aware, Kira was actually supposed to be Rey's original name. During when the concepts of The Force Awakens were being together, they were actually going to name the main character Kira as opposed to Rey. So that's a great find.
Something else is that in the extended universe, the royal family of Onderon, they were actually descended from a Dark Lord, an ancient Dark Lord. So and there was this, in the Old Republic era, there was this cult. They had a cult that basically worshipped this Dark Lord. So the people on the Dubrovnik set, with their black and white costumes, they did have a bit of a cultish feel to them, if you think of it that way. But I don't know how much they would actually take inspiration from the extended universe. So I just thought that was an interesting thing to note.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super interesting, I think.
Yeah. All right, folks. So we are getting to time now. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll be coming at you with another podcast shortly. And again, we will have an email address very soon.
I know it. It's Star Wars Connection 09@gmail.com, and you can ask questions, or you can also put them in the comments here if you're watching it on YouTube. That works as well.
Yep, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that you guys have in the coming episode. Thanks, everybody.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.